Nope.
Welcome to a very special episode of Cannabis Legalization News. Miggy and I are coming at you with some more big Senate news.
Yeah, I mean, it's and a twofer, right? Because not just a banking one, but the
both houses of Congress were busy today. So like the Safe Banking Act was reintroduced in the House of Congress, but then we're also going to cut to the Senate. And that's where Schumer and two other senators got together today and had a pretty big news conference. And so Marijuana Moment is reporting from an hour ago. Schumer marijuana bill will stop big alcohol and tobacco from dominating the market. What do you think about that, Miggy?
You know, we watched that video, and I'm kind of excited because they're going about it through committee.
Like they're getting consensus together, and now that they have this Safe Banking Act going into the House of Congress, this is the Senate's bill. And so some of the stuff we can talk about with the Senate is, how is this going to be impacted by the filibuster? Is the filibuster going to shut down any type of real legalization? We'll get out, because without those 60 votes to stop debate, they could just basically never bring the cannabis votes up for a vote. I mean, that's what happened last round. Remember, all the votes, all the cannabis bills got out of the House, but then they went to the Senate and died.
I mean, this is the one chance, like, for the, and again, we are not party Pacific people. Like, I don't give an F what you do, just like I don't give an F like who you make love to. So, but the point is, all the Republicans are solid against this. Like they're like some sort of messed up weird cult where they're just going to keep together and keep fighting against what over 80% of the American population. And, you know, it's only a matter of time before it becomes mundane like cigarettes. Like, it's just a thing, people. We're putting people in jail and hurting lives and impeding people's lives over bullshit.
Right. And so let's go back to the Marijuana Moment, which we've become a Patreon donor of, so that we can access their bill tracker. So please do go over to Marijuana Moment and consider becoming a Patreon supporter of them. They're trying to prioritize small business, particularly those owned by people from the most impacted by prohibition, and focused on justice, as well as freedom. It's kind of funny. One of the things we're going to do is we're going to go bring up Senator Schumer's YouTube channel, and then we're going to watch his YouTube video, and then we're probably going to get more views on our watching of his YouTube video, because the senator only has like 820 subscribers. It's pretty cute. But
and I say, you know what? After we watch the video later on, after this show, go give him a like. Go ahead. Go say, hey, CLN brought me here. How are you doing? We're watching you.
Tell him to come on the show. We should have Chuck Schumer on. But so Schumer tweeted out, watch, I talked with Senator Booker and Ron Wyden this week about how we're working together on legislation for comprehensive marijuana reform. So this all came out today. And then Senator Booker tweeted at his other buddies, Senator Ron Wyden and Senator Schumer, legalizing marijuana is not necessarily right, not necessarily to right the wrongs of our failed drug war, but it is not enough. We must expunge records and lift up people who are unfairly targeted.
Yeah.
And where's Wyden's? It's past time to end the federal prohibition on cannabis and the failed racist war on drugs. So here's the big moment when they were watching it, and Chuck Schumer said, it's time, it's ready to move.
We're ready. And one thing I love that my colleague who's the chairman of the Finance Committee understands and focuses on is the fact that this is also making sure that these tremendous business opportunities are being created, that this multi-billion-dollar business is not just the sort of big Wall Street-backed money interest. It's actually a fairness.
Yeah. We don't want the big tobacco companies and the big liquor companies to swoop in and take over. The legislation we have will make sure that smaller businesses in communities of color get the advantage, because the communities of color have paid the price for decades. They should at least get something back.
Amen.
I mean, it's nice talk, but I'm afraid they're going to become like Illinois. You know, like, you guys have that social equity program. How much money has been given? How much money has been allocated to
$31 million? But I mean, like,
really?
Yeah. That's that money's. And then one of the problems is now they're starting to like try to like reallocate the monies. They're like, oh, the monies are coming in. Let's try to reallocate the monies. Don't reallocate the monies. And so that's one of the nice aspects of social equity. Plug those monies directly back into the communities that have been most disproportionately injured. And also, I don't support having real estate taxes pay for public schools, because that just disproportionately enriches the schools where the wealthy people live because they pay more real estate taxes. And so that if your school system's funded that way, your school system's funded in a way that's going to automatically prejudice the poorest and then benefit the wealthiest. And right. I just think that's stupid. So I'm glad that our school system was able to get like $600,000, which it really needed this year because of the social equity cannabis taxes that get reallocated to the systems or the areas of the state that were most impacted by the war on drugs.
But that money being allocated is being more for infrastructure. Where's the foot in the door and giving the disenfranchised people, the ones that everybody wants to talk about, social equity, right? Where's the chance to give the say somebody who only makes $30K a year, and wants to have a chance to be a grower or something, they're not going to be able to raise $500,000 or whatever it is to get that.
Yeah, but that's any business is very often who can access capital. I don't care if you're opening a restaurant and it's called Chipotle. I mean, like eventually that person put together a business plan. He organized his company in a certain way. I mean, I realize he's just selling burritos, but he organized his company in a certain way so he could like have a huge stock injection or cash partnership from a McDonald's, and then get that money. And then he had access to that capital, and that's capitalism, that's business. And so like being able to access that type of capital and then being able to go out there and trying to raise that money. So that's like the Safe Banking Act passing. That's great because now like anybody else, just like a restaurant, you can get a loan. And having that access to financial services will really, really help. But then maybe some type of license allocations that are supposed to reflect the community. And so like if your community is 40% Black and the amount of ownership of the cannabis stores in that area are like 1%,
Yeah, I mean then there's your proportion, your disproportion of the money out there. But who are these small companies that Schumer's talking about though? I mean, it's got to be state operators, right? Because
that's really, especially in limited states. So if you're looking at like a New Jersey, like are there mom and pop ATCs in New Jersey? I'm not sure. I know GTI's there. I know Cresco just signed a deal in Massachusetts.
But I think like you're right though. Once federal legalization does happen, it's going to hurt these companies who structure themselves based off limiting markets. Like that's not good business, period. Right? It's just someone hoarding and saying, "Haha, it's all mine." Yeah. But when you have equal access and equal opportunities,
right? I mean, like the cannabis industry isn't oil. It's not just under somebody's property or not, and it's not just one of those lucky people that happens to be on top of like oil fields. That's not how it works. You can grow it somewhere else. And so like there's some lucky people that might just have real estate where the weather is really nice for growing this stuff. Great. They have that for strawberries too, but you have the ability to be able to go out there and grow it. And so that's one of the reasons why we advocate for those micro licenses for cultivation. So like at least 100 plant licenses out there for somebody to be able to go get. And then from there, if they are good, move up or get out of the industry.
Yeah. And I think part of my beef with the situation too is, what's hurt a lot of the legacy, the true pioneers for cannabis, as far as the conversation and everything, it has been the lack of ability to have a infrastructure regulated market, right? Because a lot of people, when you're doing it old school, there's no taxes, there's no licenses, there's no permits, there's just me stealth at night coming through with a quarter pound and knocking on your door and 20% markup and then walking away. Like that's normal basic business. But then when you have the tier system, like you're saying, if someone wants to have a restaurant, they're going to have a business plan. There are things that people aren't taught, that essential infrastructure and how to get involved.
Yeah. Well, operating I operate a business. It's a pain in the ass sometimes, but it's what you have to do if you want to be in business. You have to pay your taxes, or that'll catch up to you. And then your website's going to get hacked. because it will. It just will. But anyway, when can we expect the Senate to move on this? This is like one of those stories that I don't really like. It's like stories that we do about New York legalizing marijuana. It's like, will they, won't they? Are they going to frick? Are they going to do it yet? Are they going to frickin' do it? And then meanwhile, Virginia's like, hold our beer, and they just legalize it over a weekend. And then like, you know, and you're like, damn, Virginia just came up and legalized it that fast. Oh, it's not effective to 2024? How convenient. And so, like, when can we expect this legislation to be introduced in the Senate? Let's see what Chuck Schumer had to say about that.
Are going to be introducing legislation shortly, and it's exciting and it's imperative, and we will get it done. Okay, good work, my friends.
So, what do you think? Shortly, and they're going to get it done, and then they bumped elbows.
You know,
on this getting done.
Well, here's the misperception too that we have about the process in Congress and Senate and House and why, you know, just everything over in Washington is people think shit happens like overnight just because they put out this YouTube or whatever. Things like, oh, okay, tomorrow they're gonna go in session. No, there's an actual schedule. Like they have to meet at a certain time, this committee, and then there's only so many times throughout the year they meet. So if they don't initiate that conversation during that time of those meetings, well, that's it. That was your chance. Just like Washington State homegirl here, never made it out of goddamn committee. You know, just a lingering goddamn, you know.
Committee is where bills go to die. It's not just a saying. It's happened to a lot of bills for cannabis. It happened to all, well, actually, the Senate was where all the cannabis bills went to die last Congress. And so will the Senate do it this year? I don't know. I'm kind of thrilled, though, that they've given this press release on March 18th. Yeah. As soon as they got the coronavirus relief package off the president's desk, the next week, they're already starting to talk about cannabis again. Makes it really exciting. They introduced the Safe Banking Act again in the House. But then, of course, like with the way that the legislation works, you know, you're going to have it be joined between whatever's in the House and whatever's in the Senate so that we have an identical bill that then hopefully, you know, President Biden will sign. What is it going to look like? I don't know. A few weeks, but they're committed to get it done.
I just hope, you know, and this is so political, showboating, fucking branding, but what's the deal with Americans? Like, we like to do like all the policy on 420. Like, it seems like a bittersweet bullshit. Like, let's help people now. Let's fix issues now, not wait till some landmark freaking bullcrap day that means all kinds of stuff. No. People are losing time now. And
yeah. Shout out to Nathan Turner, who just threw us $20. That's ridiculous. Thanks so much, man. 10 of that's going to go to helping commissary. We also have some other ways that you guys can start interacting with our channel. Evidently, we're now a membership channel. That's right. YouTube allowed us to gamify it. So you can join membership levels. Miggy's got a membership level that he should tell you about. I'm going to pull up our channel, but hang on. Let's just kind of dive in real quick. Remember, go subscribe to Chuck Schumer. He only has 869 subs. Let's see.
Dude, we got half the subs watching that.
I know. I understand. Like, there's now more people watching this at 180 people that have viewed this whole thing. It was only viewed 172 times.
Wow.
It just makes me smile a little bit. But let's go behind the scenes of cannabis legalization news. Here's our thing. And now I guess it's called, is it monetization? Oh, no. I'm unfortunately, they all know the secrets now. And so we have memberships now. And so we have, oh my gosh, 2 completed. But we have 3 different types. There's a lounge member. There's Miggy's Next Story. And then there's Legalizer in Chief. And then there's some badges and then some emojis. Evidently, the emojis we have are my face, Miggy's face, the fire emoji, and then CLN's logo is now going to be an emoji. And there you go. It's cannabis legalization news, the game.
The emojis are awesome, dude. I mean, wow, that's fucking dope. But yeah, and as far as the subscribe base, you know what? Donate to that level, and I will put more stories out. And so, is that going to be only for those ones that donate, or is it going to be a general?
Oh, you have like backdoor level permissions, and so like you can have it be, hey guys, you know, thanks for helping me get this story together. You can publish it, and then like. Yeah, so now when you go into the videos, you can hit like members only, different levels of members and stuff for those videos. And as a result of that, like I could do like webinars on here and be like, don't forget to, this is a webinar for legalization partners, like whatever the $25 a month one was.
Yeah.
And so like we could throw our webinars on a special channel on CLN, or you could do like your piece that month for however many subs you get, like at $5 a month. Don't forget to support Miggy's next story. Go join us on Cannabis Legalization News at that membership level, and then you'll get exclusive access to Miggy's stories. And then like after a month or so, we could bump them to the regular stuff. Yeah, I do that with my webinars. And so like I'll do a webinar on how to like fill, and I got to do another one on the Detroit legacy business plan that we're working on right now. And then after that, there's a whole bunch that we're going to be doing on New Jersey with their conditional licenses and their other stuff. And so I'll do those, and then I record it, and then I'll unlist it. And then after I unlist it, then I email that to everybody who's on our email list. So go over to Cannabis Legalization News or CannabisIndustryLawyer.com and sign up for our email list, and you'll get notice of those.
I'm excited. And yeah, I'm excited to add more content. This was and we will. So are we going to, for Tommy's pre-recorded one, are we just going to post that as our live one for Wednesday? Or are we going to, or should we record it and then view it together with the audience?
We can always set it as a premiere party, but then I have no idea because we're going to record Tommy Chong's episode, which is going to be good. But at the same time, then if we're recording it, we might want to edit it after it's recorded, so it might go to processing for 24 hours or so. Because we're going to want to put in all the best bumpers that we can. Because one of the things we should play with Tommy Chong is. We're going to do another very special episode of Name That Strain. So on today's episode of Name That Strain, I'm going to go to Solo Layout and say, hey, everybody, remember that? Remember Name That Strain? Go ahead and try to name that strain, all right? And that's the strain that we're going to try to name today.
I'm going to say more of a sativa leaning.
No, look at that. It's more chunky than a sativa. Of course, I haven't seen a natural sativa in forever. And I'm sure if you're like talking about like a 15-foot tall haze plant, that's going to be like a huge cola, like the size of your arm.
For Tommy's show, can we get the just "Hey man" written on top of that?
Hey man.
Hey man, name that strain.
Hey man, name that strain. Yeah. That would be pretty cool with the "Hey man, name that strain," and then see if Tommy Chong wants to play "Name That Strain" too. I would, I would appreciate that. But the fun times. I mean, we just had some technical difficulty, and it was too bad. Like we'd see him coming in behind the set, and like it just didn't connect. So hey, but we have some news that's out of the Senate. It looks like the Senate's going to be coming in, so don't forget to smash those likes, hit subscribe, and then you'll get news when the Senate actually drops that. Then we'll go through the bill, see it. I mean, because I didn't want to do another story on the MORE Act. We've done stories on the MORE Act, like the last 3 versions of the MORE Act. How much more different is it going to be now versus this new stuff that they're supposed to be doing in the Senate? I don't know what they're going to call for. What if the Senate comes in, it's like drop it to Schedule 3, and the MORE Act's like drop it. Well, I guess it wasn't the MORE Act that was introduced today. It was safe banking. I'm assuming the MORE Act will be introduced eventually, right?
Well, this is why we need to get some sexy porno music when we talk about the legislation process.
That's right. There should only be sexy jazz music while we're talking about the legislation process. It's like, oh, that bill is heading to some floor action.
You're like brown cow.
Right. But then again, like floor action is literally an aspect of the policy, provided that you can make it out of committee, but what really can, all of those types of things.
Just be like a bill and be like, well, I used to be a senator, but now I'm not a congressman.
Low resolution hybrid. It has to be it. Low resolution hybrid. You can't see it very well. And then of course it's a hybrid. There's definitely some ruderalis in that plant. It was also an autoflower, and so it was an autoflower that I didn't do a very good job of growing, by the way. Yeah, but hey, let's see how it tastes. Because you know what? If you're watching Cannabis Legalization News, it's probably gonna be this time somewhere.
All right. Anyways, hey, real quick, one of our viewers asked about Texas. Do you know what's going on? Anything new out there?
Texas actually does have some bills that have been introduced, but they have not necessarily made it out of any type of committees or it had any substantive votes. One of the things that we can use is our Marijuana Moment legislative tracking tool to see what types of bills are in Texas, and then maybe do some content on that. I just haven't thought Texas is particularly serious about legalizing cannabis, and so I didn't really dig into theirs. I mean, I did some stuff, and we have some content that I could shoot on New Mexico, because I think New Mexico I'm just a little bit more confident in, but I still haven't like recorded that stuff on New Mexico to put that out, because it's like, well, is SB 12 going to pass or ain't it? And then we'll just kind of wait. And then there's some more stuff in Pennsylvania we need to do, because SB 350, that was Dalen Leach's one, that's expired, and they have a new version of that. So we should check and see if they still have the cool stuff or if it all sucks now.
Dope, dude. No, I think Lauren just sent us a message here. Just trying to see.
Oh, we're going to start giving clues. That's hilarious. This purple and crystal-coated indica strain is a cross between Afghani and Thai stick. But no, that one is a cross between a chemdogging and a ruderalis plant. It is by Mephisto Genetics.
Yeah, I agree with Marianne, though. Too many old guys stopping progress in Texas. I mean, but that's the kind of the situation in even just the big scheme of things, right? Like if you ever watch a hearing, I mean, just the half a stupid that comes out of these guys, like the Idaho representatives and the Ohio representatives, you're like, who is your constituency? Is it like the third grade? Like, what's the, it just seems like a big crazy shell game that if you're not paying attention, these jackasses are getting over on a bunch of their people locally. It just seems to be.
But anyway, you know what? We'll hit it up later. If there's more news that drops between then and now, we'll hop on. It's a Friday news dump. Something may go on, but it could have just been that thing that Chuck Schumer and the other two senators, Ron Wyden and Cory Booker, dropped. And so what do we think? Do we think that we're going to have the bill by 420?
I unfortunately think it's going to be a weird, ironic bullshit. Yeah, I think unfortunately, let's do it tomorrow. But no, these jackasses are going to wait till 420.
Well, they say we have the legislation coming shortly. I like how they have, I mean, like, they understand press and stuff and promotions. It's like, when are you going to have this done? Soon.
Yeah.
So why did you call this press conference? To let you know that it's coming.
Get ready. Get ready.
We aren't going to allow these big alcohol and big tobacco companies to come in and swoop in. Well, what are we going to do about it? Just a second. We'll tell you in a bit.
Yeah. Let's hope. I think so, though. I think something's going to happen. And the only thing I think is important enough to happen would be just to release the people. Release everybody that's incarcerated right now. I mean, that would be one step.
Yep. All federal prisoners getting expunged would be fantastic. And then, of course, like, how many of those prisoners are in there where this was just like an interloping charge that got in there, like it's just in the stack of the crap they found him guilty with.
Or even in the legal states, like my friend Adela Wisdom, who's going through prosecution in goddamn Missouri, but yet another part of Missouri, they drop charges against somebody because they're like, oh, well, you have a medical prescription, so we'll not chase. And she's an activist, years, like 15, 20 years, like me, who's been standing up for the plant. It's a low-hanging fruit when it comes to criminality. This is just, we're going backwards, but we're also going forwards at the same time.
Right. And this is like when we're talking about a plant where all the facts are really on your side. We aren't talking about something that, where there's that moral slippery slope or somebody's getting hurt or anything like that. And that's how hard change is. Imagine if you were really trying to change something and then all the facts and evidence weren't clearly on your side. It's never getting done, No,
man. It's exhausting, but we're getting there.
Yeah.
So what's that strain?
Oh, the name of that strain is Creme de la Chem from Mephisto Genetics. It's pretty good. I wish that I had not have botched the pH on it so much, but next run, I'll get it right.
That's how we learn.
It's how we learn. Until next time, I'll see you guys in Cannabis Legalization News.